We're back with a Fox News alert. We are now 30 minutes past Israel's deadline for Palestinians to leave northern Gaza. Right now, a giant plume of smoke filling the sky over Gaza City from the latest round of strikes. And as Israel prepares to launch a full-scale ground invasion, fresh fighting is breaking out on Israel's border with Lebanon. Mike Tobin is live on the ground in southern Israel with the latest. Mike, good morning.
Well, good morning. There are two major activities taking place here in the area of the Gaza Strip. One of them, of course, is the evacuation of civilians from the city of Gaza to the southern part of the Gaza Strip. The other, of course, is the ramp up to what appears to be an inevitable ground invasion of the Gaza Strip. And that includes the weakening or the disruption of the Hamas command structure. The IDF says the Air Force indeed is taking out high-value targets within the Hamas structure. One of those people they say they hit overnight is Ali Khadi. He is a planner of the attacks just a week ago. He's also one of the 1,000 Palestinians who were released in that deal to free Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit. So Ali Khadi is one of the people who got out. He went right back into the terror business, and now he is dead. Also, Murad Abu Murad, who's called the director of aerial operations and part of the Nukba Naval Commando Force. They call themselves the Naval Commando Force. He also was said to be one of the planners of the October 7th attacks of just a week ago. He also is dead.
The barrage of attacks overnight targeted Nukba militants. These Nukba militants are the ones that executed the atrocities on Saturday. We attacked military headquarters for over 3 hours. The IDF and Israeli Shin Bet eliminated, based on intelligence, Murad Abu Murad, head of Hamas aerial system in Gaza City, who was largely responsible for the massacre on Saturday.
And there are some major developments in terms of that refugee crisis of civilians coming out of Gaza City. You have this Herculean task to get 1.1 million people south of the danger zone. Israel opened up 2 evacuation corridors today, or I should say allowed the evacuation corridors. The time for those evacuation corridors has just expired. Also, a deal was struck to open the Rafah border crossing at the southern end of the Gaza Strip that connects with Egypt, and that is to allow people with foreign passports, including U.S. citizens who are in the Gaza Strip, an opportunity to get out. As far as what is happening in the north, the situation is very tense there. Israel continues to take anti-tank fire, rocket fire from Hezbollah. Israel is responding, but things haven't entirely blown up at the northern border. Guys, back to you in New York.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. Stay safe.